but you have to be able to use these senses for the consumer. On the other hand, you might also relate to experiences where, because of these senses, you acted as a consumer who wanted to buy that stuff. Can you do that? Did you understand my question? I can give you 5 minutes. Think about examples. Think about experiences. If you want to discuss, you can. I want you to remember those associations or those experiences where visual, olfactory, gustatory, vestibular, auditory, tactile proprioception was used by companies to attract you and be the consumer that they want you to be. Okay? I'm giving you 5 to 10 minutes for this. And then we can have answers from the crowd. Is that okay? नहीं सब अलग अलग हो तो चलेगा. I don't want that all of them should be in one example. You can state different examples with the different things. Are you done? Ready with your examples? Okay, who can give me an example for the first thing? Visual. Yeah?
There was an ad of Koti Bravia.
Uh-huh. Okay. That could be an example of visual. But this is more like where you see something and then you get attracted to buy it. Lens card, okay. Any other example? What happens in Rajasthan tourism? Hmm? And you look at the ad and you want to use it. Yeah. 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 Sorry? 3D movies. That could be a very good example, a quite relevant example of how visual factor works and helps you decide that, okay, I want to see this movie because I'm going to get something visually different, right? Good. Olfactory, the smell part of it. Maggie, the soaps, deodorants. But ऐसा कब होता है कि you go to a store and you're able to actually smell the soap? Deodorants maybe. Yeah. Anything else? Can you get up and say, please? Food? Yeah. Yeah. There was a personal experience with me regarding the olfactory. Uh, and I'm sure that it must be used also in India. I was in Tokyo when this happened, and usually when we walk to the railway station, there was always a mall or a huge shopping complex that we had to pass through. And the ground floor of those malls usually had very good coffee shops or bakeries. And whenever we passed through, we always used to get the smell of freshly baked goods. And I've seen myself also, and some of the times on the street, passerbys as well. They probably did not have any intention of going into the bakery, but because of the smell of something that was being freshly baked, they would take a stop, take a coffee or something to eat, and go on with their job. It was much, much later that I came to know that most of these professional bakeries had a perfume or a smell that smelled like freshly baked goods. And they would release that smell from the vent of their kitchen or their shop. Because practically, in the business sense, when you're opening a shop, it's not possible to have such freshly baked goods at all the time. You usually have your store which is ready, the stock is ready, and as and when people come, they warm it and they serve it. इतना freshly baked किसी bakery में usually नहीं मिलता है, especially if it's a commercial bakery on a high street. So what they used to do in order to attract is to use this kind of smell. Starbucks also has a similar strategy. Have you been to Starbucks here? And you always smell coffee? Especially, I don't know, I haven't been to a Starbucks in India, so I'm not really very sure. But in the places that I have been, as soon as you enter the shop, there is smell of freshly ground coffee. Of course, the shop does deal with coffee, so there is going to be smell of coffee. But when coffee is ground for a long time and it becomes stale, it starts giving a very sour odor. खट्टा smell आने लगता है उसमें से, which is not good. So what the shops do? They bring in the olfactory senses. They release the perfume that smells like freshly ground coffee, and that attracts you a lot to go into the stores. Gustatory, Amul ice cream, okay. Yeah, you could find so many examples for gustatory. But I think nowadays there is more and more trend of giving you samples of food. They'll give you a small bit and then you'll want more. That is hooking on to the taste smell. आपको थोड़ा सा tickle कर दिया, now you want more and you end up buying, not all the times, but at least some of the times. Vestibular, balance. ये कहाँ आता है? Sorry? Two-wheelers? How can balance be used to attract customers? Sorry? Balance what? Balance food. मतलब? Acha, okay, you're using the word balance. No. This is more like bodily balance. Honda two-wheelers. Why? Okay. I didn't know that ad, but that's a very good example where they are talking about body, about the balance and related aspects like safety and security to make sure that you understand the technology being used. Another good example, as I know, of places that use the vestibular sense is theme parks. Have you been to theme parks?
There was one ad of an XUV. when the car was turning out.
Hmm?